Hey, YouTube friends and my Facebook friends. Excuse me, that watch me through Facebook. Um, Now I'm not trying to get all sad and dramatic, but I felt like God was speaking to me the other day, especially last night. I got done reading a little bit. I've been reading the book, the story of Moses and stuff, and I'm eating my favorite ice cream. It's mango with my favorite Mexican candy, tamarindo, and a little bit of chamoy, which so beaner, so Mexican me. And it was talking about how the mom had to sacrifice her own child so that her firstborn male child wouldn't be sacrificed. In that way, how Jesus sacrificed, not Jesus, because they thought every male, one of them was going to be Jesus. So Pharaoh, being out of fear, decided to kill all firstborn that were Jews. And it just struck me, like, as a mother, my first son, not the only thing I've had, was my first son was a male. And so it just brought tears to my eyes, thinking, what would I do? How would I feel watching my soon-to-be 12-year-old, because he'll be 12 in 3 days. And it just brought to my reflection, because I've had 4 miscarriages, and they haven't been the easiest. One, the first time wasn't hard for me to let go. It was easy. I don't know why or how to explain. It felt like just God, just in a dream, came up to me and he's like, this is not you. This is not for you. I need it more. I'm sorry to... And I know it may sound odd and you may not believe me, but that's fine. Because I know what I believe and I know what I saw in my dream. And he just said, it's mine. So he said, it's nothing. He goes, it's nothing. And I was like, what do you mean it's nothing? And he's like, and he showed me, and it was nothing. There was nothing there. So when I went and had my ultrasound, again, there was nothing in the ultrasound. There was nothing. It just didn't form into anything. You can see something there, but it wasn't nothing. It wasn't forming, shaping, nothing. So they told me I'm sorry, and they gave me the medication, and in 4 hours it passed, and it hurt. It didn't hurt as bad, but it was painful. Don't get me wrong, but after a while I was able to breathe and just be like, it's like if I gave birth all over again. But it was, it's all gone. Then I ended up 2 years later getting pregnant again. And I just remember my son getting all excited, kissing my belly, rubbing on it, singing to its new brother and sister or whatever it was, saying, ooh, can you hear me, Mom? Can you hear me, Mom? And I was like, yes, it can probably hear you. I don't know, but So I just wouldn't stop that from him from stopping from loving whatever was going to be. And just remember feeling a lot of pain one day in my lower back while I was taking the shower. And when I was in there, I had a revelation. My grandmother came to me, and she's like, no. She just looked at me, and she just shook her head and said, no. And then she just went like this and said, no. And I was like, okay. And then out of nowhere, I just heard a loud pop within my own body. Boom. And 2 minutes later, I just started bleeding. And I just kept watching myself, TMI about it. And as I was bleeding very little, I went to the hospital. I finally told my mom, and the nurse was like, oh, your levels are high. Don't even worry, your levels are high. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I need to get this out of me. She's like, no, you're fine. And I was like, are you sure? So me and my mom prayed. Came home, we prayed. And I said, God, whatever your will is, whatever it is that you want from me, take it. So he did. The next day I went back to my doctors. I called them. I told them I was bleeding a little more heavier. And they said, okay. And then when they came in, they saw the whole, everything. They just seen blood all over. And she gave me the option, so I took the pill. because I don't have time to take off from work and go do the DNC and stuff. And this one was extremely painful. She gave me 2 of them. 2. She said if I needed to take a third one, I could. She gave me 2 pills. And just like that, I started cramping. I started going into labor, and came out of nowhere. It was pretty painful because it was heavy. And then the first one, and it was hard to watch. My son just cried. That was what hit me the most. Is just standing there, having him see that it was emotionally painful. I had made my peace with God, explained to God that if he needed it more, he can have it. So I said, okay. And then the second time, I didn't know I was pregnant. I didn't tell a soul. It just came out. I was in the shower, and just like that, everything just came out. And I went to the doctors, and they confirmed it, that it was. And they just made sure that I was clean and normal. And in that time, this lady came to me, and she asked me at work what had happened to me, because me and my friend had gone to the same experience. She's a little bit older, but me and her have experienced 2 miscarriages at the same time. I think her and her husband were trying to conceive. He wanted her to have another child because his oldest was married and was going to have a child. And his youngest was going to be in 8th grade. Going into 6th grade, sorry, because this was 2 years ago. Going into 6th grade. That's how old his youngest was going to be a 6th grader. And she's a little bit older than me, and she doesn't know what happened either. And as I was in the restroom, a coworker asked me, well, what did you do wrong? And I said, what do you mean, what did I do wrong? I didn't do anything. So I walked away, ashamed, angry, and furious at my coworker. But God told me, no, you're not going to do that. You're going to forgive her right there and then. You're going to let it go. You're going to talk about it in your Facebook, and you're just going to let it go. And you're going to release your anger there and let other people see that this is a real issue, that women are not alone. Then the other day I was talking to another coworker, and she's like, oh, how many kids do you have? Sweet young girl. I'm not angry with her. She didn't mean it in a rude way. It was all innocent, but she didn't realize what she had said. My son told me, he's been telling me this past few days, because I've been losing weight, and I lost 3 more pounds. I was laying down, and my son looked at me, he goes, Mom, I had a vision that you were pregnant, and your belly looks like you're pregnant with twins. And he started crying, and he was like, Mom, I want a brother and a sister. It's not fair that you got brothers and sisters, and you got 3 of them to love and to say, hey, that's my brother, or hey, that's my sister. He goes, why can't I have that? He goes, is there anything I did wrong with God? I was like, no. He goes, can't we talk to God and ask him, can we make a deal? He said, I'll go to college and get all grades. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. God decided he wants this for a reason, and that's what it's going to be. Sorry, I can't let this ice cream go bad. And so, me and my coworker were talking about that. And she's like, oh wow, I'm really sorry. How many miscarriages have you had? And I said 4. And I go, this last one was this last November. And I was 2.5 months pregnant. I wasn't feeling any pain. I thought this one was going to work out. I felt it in my body, like everything was going fine. And then one day I woke up. I didn't want to tell my parents. I told my dad. I didn't want to tell my mom for one reason. Because I didn't want her to get angry with me that I was pregnant, because she knew that I've had miscarriages. And she didn't want me to experience that again. She didn't, and I didn't want to let her down. So I didn't want to jinx it either. So I said, okay. So I went to bed, got up, felt a lot of pain in my stomach. Like I couldn't go to the bathroom, but I had to go. I finally went, and then I started puking, and I couldn't stop puking. So I thought, normal, pregnancy, normal, girls go through it. So I asked my cousin, who's a nurse, and she said, oh, congratulations, because I hadn't told people. She said, crackers and water. Try drinking a lot of water and crackers. And I said, oh, hey, thank you. And I couldn't stop. I started puking. I think I puked about 180 times in less than an hour. My body started feeling weird. My face started to turn yellow. And my mom's like, that doesn't sound right. So I finally told her what was wrong with me. And she's like, no, that's not no normal pregnancy thing. She goes, I know, because she's gone through miscarriages before. She's had 3 in her past. And I said, okay, Mom. So we went to the hospital, the doctors, and they were like, well, you don't have an infection. So then one of them was like, we're going to send you to the hospital, and they're going to do x-rays and stuff and check to make sure that the baby is not stuck in the tubes. And I said, okay. And my husband, at the time, my son's dad at the time, because we were together, was crying his eyes out. And he was like, I can't do this no more. So he stayed with me all night, and he took me. And he had to work the next day, so I told him he can go ahead and work after they admitted me. I told him go home, pray, get some rest. He's not a full believer, but he's starting to get there. God was changing him and was making miracles in his life at that. And then, I ended up having this, that it was in the tubes, and when they told me that they had to do a surgery, and they had to remove one tube, and then that tube was going to be no longer in my system, and then I could still get pregnant. I'll still have a 100% chance of getting pregnant, but I would have to talk to my physician, do some tests, make sure that I'm healthy. He's all right. And then they checked my uterus, they checked everything. They're like, you're healthy. We're like, we just don't know. So they couldn't figure it out. So I was telling my story to my coworker, and then she goes, well, what did you do wrong? And I was like, nothing. I go, lots of women go through this, and they don't do anything wrong, but that's exactly how they feel. That the world is looking at them like it's their fault that they lost that child. Like they did something wrong. And I'm here to tell you, you didn't do anything wrong, and it's okay, because it hurts. I understand that. And this lady was like, was going through it on the group. I decided to join this group, and they're it's called to support women that have had stillbirth and miscarriages. And this lady told me I was nuts, because I told her what got me through it was God. Because after I had this tube and taken out, and I was in the hospital, and I was just sitting there praying about it, I just remember having God talking to me and telling me, you can't have this. You can't do this. This is not meant for you, because I have something greater for you. He goes, but I can't tell you what it is. And I'm just like, why not? It's like, I want to know. And so when I told the person that I was chatting with, what I was going through, and how I felt that God was healing me through the process, she was like, first thing she said, and do not tell me that God has a plan or a purpose and a reason why he did that. And I know a lot of women feel that way. They feel attacked, because a lot of times we don't know why things like these happen to us. We're in a situation with a battle with ourselves. If you're a believer, sometimes people tend to not want to be believers. They tend to be angry with God. And believe me, I was angry a lot. Not with God, but with myself, because I too did blame myself for a while. But I came to understand that God had a bigger and better purpose. And so when I seen this lady today posting about her loss of her pregnancy, it just reminded me of mine. And I feel like God has been telling me to tell my story to help maybe somebody who's going through this. You're not alone. It is difficult. Everybody grieves differently. I'm sorry you have to go through this. It's not fun because I feel like I was pregnant and everybody was excited. And everybody was like, oh my God, you're pregnant, blah, 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 and this and that. And my aunt came and she had a friend that was gonna have a child, but she ended up losing it. They decided they didn't want to have any more children, so they gave up and they had bought a crib or something like that. And my aunt gave me a crib for free, brand new. And I was like, oh wow. And then just like that, my mom and I gave back to my aunt to somebody else who really needed it because I ended up losing it. I wasn't going to use it, you know? And, sorry. And, it's just tough because my son is turning 12. And I feel for him. I feel his pain, that what he desires. I told him it's normal to pray about it. So let God know that, you know, his little heart wishes. But he has lots of cousins who love him that will be honored to be part of his brother and sister. It's just difficult. It's different and it's tough. Because I know. I told him, I'm not young. I'm 37. I wasn't, you know, I'm glad that I didn't have children right after you because we were living in a dark place that I wouldn't be able to have or raise those children. I probably would have been dead. I said, or I probably would have had my children taken away from me if I would have had too many. And plus, my son has Asperger's and he has ADHD. And I just kept thinking about all these things, you know, that he has, and Tourette's, and how I have to help him succeed, and how I have to teach him to cope with those things. Because I tell him every single day, look, you may have Asperger's, you may have Tourette's, and you may have ADHD, but those do not define who you are as a person, or who you will be, or how you become. You decide that. Those are just things you have, but it doesn't mean that you're any less than anybody else. And he hugs me and tells me, oh, you're so beautiful, you know. And then today at work, this lady was like, you know, was hearing me talk to my coworker about she was like, oh, that girl is insecure, and she didn't say insecure, she said inconsiderate. And I was like, no, I don't think she meant harm because she's only 21, I believe. She's barely 21 or 20. And you can tell how innocent she said it. Like, she didn't even realize what she had said. And everybody had dropped their food and were like, you joking? Like, did you just say what the heck? Like, if I deliberately... She goes, and I said, it's not that we do anything wrong, is that our body sometimes doesn't want them, and it just rejects them, and we don't know why. and it's hard to tell. Medical science, it's pretty odd. And it's kind of like the coronavirus. It just doesn't want to go away, and people will have miscarriages that we don't want, and it doesn't want to go away. And it's like I was telling her, because one moment I'm over here all, oh, I'm pregnant, and then the next moment I'm like, oh, I thought you were pregnant. I'm like, no, I'm no longer pregnant. They're like, you just said like 2 days ago you were pregnant. I'm like, well, I'm not anymore. It's just like boom, like in the blink of an eye, just like that. So I hope you guys understand. I'm not trying to make this sad. I'm just trying to tell my story so that hopefully one of you can learn to understand that God has a plan for you. And He needed those children more than I did. And I'm glad He took them from me, because I don't think I would have been able to be a really good mother. Now I can, but I don't think I would have been able to then. But even now, I think God has different plans for me, in different ways of showing me what He can do in my life. And I hope you guys know that you're not alone. If you ever need somebody to talk to, your support groups, share your story. It might be very therapeutic. It is for me. And know that we love you. And I'm deeply sorry. And I understand everybody goes through it differently. So not everybody goes through it the same way. It's not everybody's pain is not always the same. But I do understand your pain though, because it's not fun. So I hope you guys have a great afternoon, great day. I gotta get to bed because I gotta be up at 5 to go to work tomorrow. But then my vacation starts. Whoop whoop. I have a whole week off. Vacation, time to spend with my son, and just figure out what I'm gonna do for his birthday and just enjoy it with him while I can, because he's growing so fast. 12. And he's already 5'4", 5'3". Yeah, 5'3" or 5'4". Because I'm only 4'11". And he's already taller than me. And he wears a size 7 in men's. It's like, dude, stop growing. But he takes after his dad. His dad is 6'4". So, yeah. But with that said, I hope you guys have a great afternoon. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Thank you to all of you who do. I am forever grateful, and I hope you guys have a great evening. And if you want to share this with somebody who's going through this, and maybe this might help them, then do so. Love you guys. Bye.